Hello, everyone. I hope you've all had a wonderful conference. My name's Stuart White, obviously the founder of Right Mentor and one of the co-organisers of the event. I'm just going to finish off the conference with a few closing remarks on how the conference has been, to thank a few people, to talk a little bit about the conference itself, and obviously to give you some options beyond the conference as well, because it's not just a conference for the weekend, it's a conference for the month. And we do that purposefully because we believe in trying to improve accessibility and opportunities for people. And by giving you that bit of extra time, I think that hopefully achieves that. So this year has been it's been a challenging year for everyone on a number of fronts. I alluded to this in the opening remarks, financially and obviously getting over the pandemic and such things. And so running the conference in an environment like that is not necessarily the easiest thing to do. However, this year, I do think what we have delivered, and this is based upon the feedback that we've already received from people, which has been very, very positive, and I'm really, really pleased about that. We do get people who maybe don't feel as positively about certain things, but we actually we don't think we've had anything like that this year so far. Fingers crossed that anyone's really disliked or has found that they don't particularly enjoy. So yes, we think this year has been a success, and obviously all of you who have attended the conference this year have been integral in making that happen. We basically can't do we can't do it without you. We do it for you as well, and with everyone we decide to invite to the conference and all of the different workshops and talks and so on. The way we tailor everything in terms of the balance of things, we're always thinking about how we can best deliver for you and give you the best possible conference. And so we hope that we've been successful with that. I'm going to talk a little bit about behind the scenes in a moment or two, but I think I should start with some thanks for the people that are involved with the conference. So, of course, I need to start my thanks with the Right Mentor team. So, first of all, Emily Randall, who's the events coordinator. She started at the beginning of this year, had a very busy intro, and then has been focusing mostly upon helping organise this conference ever since. We had a team meeting back in March, I think it was, to discuss who we were going to invite for everything, the structure, the layout, the way that we were going to go about things this year, and see if we had to make any changes based upon last year and so on. And we had a really we had a long discussion. There was a lot of names said, and that's something that's maybe worth pointing out about organising a conference, is that you end up going through, I mean, honestly, at least 100 names trying to fill all the various requirements that you have for the conference and the different workshops and talks and so on, but also just trying to keep things balanced as well, because we're conscious that we have writers attending the conference who are picture book writers all the way up to young adults. So you've got to make sure that we try and accommodate the needs of all the writers that attend, and that can be quite tricky sometimes. And that can be the difference between inviting X person rather than Y person, for example. And we have this sort of very long discussion about it, and it was nice this year, as I say, because Emily's part of the team. We did an extra and different voice to help us come to those decisions. Basically everyone, and it's something maybe when you go to a conference you're not necessarily conscious or aware of it, but it's something to bear in mind when you go to future conferences. Is think, okay, so they'll have chosen this particular thing for this particular reason, and blah blah blah. And I know that for people, I know, for example, I've just signed up for a conference in November, and so you look at the workshops, and you think, what is going to benefit me the most as a writer, and that's and you choose whatever you're going to choose. But for people who are running a conference, they can't necessarily just think about those things. They've got to think, as I say, about balance and having a good breadth of options available to people. Because the worst thing is that you have someone who signs up and says, actually, there's no real sessions there for me, for a writer like me. And so, yeah, you've got to just make sure that you've got that across board. And anyway, as I say, having Emily on board this year has been a massive help, not just in terms of that initial stage, and we were organising the conference and so on. But she has done, I would say, about 90% of all the emailing and organising for the conference this time. It's usually been majority me in the past, but it was a different experience letting someone else do it this year. And she's obviously done an amazing job, as you can see. We've got great people. She managed to reach people that maybe I wouldn't have been able to get a hold of and to invite, or they wouldn't maybe have responded to my email, but they did to Emily's. So it's an amazing group of people that she's managed to organise and coordinate and get together for the conference. So obviously a huge thanks to Emily for that work and all that she's done as well across the weekend. She's been online constantly from early doors basically on Friday, all the way through to just now. And I'm hoping that by this stage she's not actually watching this and has already gone and lay down in a dark room somewhere. Although knowing her, she's probably busy with something else in her life right now. So yeah, a huge thanks to Emily, who, as I say, came on board this year and has been a massive part of the organisation of WOWCON and the whole event. In addition to Emily, as you guys know from previous years, we've got other members of the team. We've got Melissa, who usually runs our hub community and our Spark mentoring and so on. But again, was integral to this conference in terms of inviting several people. There was people, so, and this is something when we're talking about the organisation of it, when we're sitting around there, we're also thinking about who can we actually contact when we're thinking about people for the conference too. And Melissa is really useful in that regard. She's useful in a lot of regards, but specifically that one because she knows a lot of writers through her various networks and so on. So she managed to reach out and get a few people on board for the conference this year, which again was obviously massively helpful. She also chaired two of our panels and has been a moderator as well for our live sessions. So she has played another huge part within the conference, and so thanks to Melissa as well. And then finally, the third member of the Right Mentor team, Floriane, who is one who I don't think gets as much credit as she deserves, because a lot of the work she does goes on behind the scenes and it's unnoticed and so on. So therefore, like, so for example, you see my face everywhere and you get to hear from me all the time, probably far too much. But whereas with Florian, she's much more behind the scenes and works hard on the things which still matter. In fact, probably matter more than me showing my mug everywhere. So she does the website, which you'll know is quite stylishly done. Where you can tell the difference between a Stuart website page and a Florian website page a mile off. She's great. She's got an good eye for detail. She obviously has training in that area as well. She also does the social media side of things as well. So all of the basically all the professional looking posts that come from any of our social media are from her, and yeah, any of them that probably say the word "we" in them, then that one's been written by me. I don't actually do very much anymore on the social media, again because Florian does such a good job that I feel like I'm just sort of I'm like the old grandpa coming into the room and sending the wrong tone of tweet, or not including images or alt text or all the links, the various links and emojis and stuff that I'm supposed to. So yeah, I thank Florian for that, and obviously for everything else that she does as well. She's been with me at Right Mentor for a long time now. We are 3 years now working together, and yeah, she provides a level of much needed sanity to me at times when I am getting a little bit too ambitious with things, or want to just give things away for free all the time. And she's like, no, we need something. We need some money coming in, so you can't just give everything away for free. So she's very good. She's a good counterpart to what I'm like a lot of the time. So my thanks obviously to Florian for help with the conference and the website page and all the social media, but also for everything else as well. So that's the sort of core Right Mentor team. That's the people that you'll see in the website and so on. But the conference is such a a tricky thing to run. There's a lot of moving parts and so on. And so for ourselves who are behind the scenes, we do need help with that. And so we have for the last 2 years now asked a group of moderators to come on and help us out with that side of things. And the moderators are brilliant people. They are they're willing to do this first of all, to go on live, which is a really nerve wracking thing to do. To remember to record sessions, to admit people on a register that I've put together on a spreadsheet, surprisingly enough, and they obviously have to then sit through the whole session. Now, what that makes it sound like it's not that appealing. Actually, getting to sit through these sessions is amazing, and I think for all of those who have moderated for us this year, I want to pass on my thanks. I'll read out all the names just now, just so that they can get a proper shout out and you know who they are. So Amy Feast, Emma Bradley, Emma Finlayson Palmer, Marisa Noel, Melissa Welliver, who we obviously mentioned earlier, Philip Cavadius, Sophia Payne. So they've been the moderators in the live sessions for WOWCON this year, and they've done a great job. I've been so impressed with them. Very little prompting needed for anything. It's like that makes our life so much easier when we've got good people involved and helping out behind the scenes as well in the moderation front. So I hope that you'll have seen them in your sessions, and you probably, in fact, if they've done their job really well, you've not have seen them too much in the sessions. It'll obviously have been down to the main session leader. So yeah, thanks very much to all of the moderators. You've really been a huge help for us this year, and we certainly would have struggled to do it without you. So thanks, and I hope you've had a good conference as well as also leading the sessions for us. And obviously the most important people we need to thank for the conference is yourselves, those of you who have attended this year. I've said this a couple of times already, but running a conference is a really tough gig, and you have to make a lot of assumptions and hopes when you're setting up in terms of things like budgeting and trying to work out how many people are going to come and so on. And yeah, and that's obviously a tricky element for us. So, for example, like last year we had just over 300 people attend the conference. So we actually did take into account that there might be slightly fewer this year for a number of reasons, such as the return to in-person conferences, maybe people just getting like Zoom fatigue, and other things as well. So we did account for that, and we've come about 15 people short of what I had in my head as a target for the conference, which is a pity, but we do keep the tickets open beyond the weekend as well. So if people want to come and watch the recordings, they still can. So we'll maybe make that up in that time. But it's been a very successful conference because all of you have come. And the thing is, you might you won't have thought about this as you're buying your ticket, but every time you do something that we put on, that gives us the encouragement and the impetus to repeat that and to do it again. So if you value something like WOWCON, for example, you coming and buying a ticket, even if you're just coming along to one or two sessions, that makes the world of difference to us in terms of when we're looking at this again next year and we think, okay, can we have a conference in the same scale as we had last year, or do we need to scale it down because there's fewer people there and so on? And so I wanted to say thank you to all of you for doing that. I know that financially times are really tough at the moment. They are for all of us. I've seen my energy bills double, for example, and it's been really difficult to manage. And the fact that you're all still willing to invest in yourselves and your writing and developing your craft and in supporting us as well. That means everything to us, and so thank you for doing that, and know that it is appreciated at all times, and we will continue to do all these events, to do WOWCON and everything else that we do. But obviously, we can't do it at all without the support of all of you. So when you do that, that's something to bear in mind as well, is that your support is what encourages us, and in literal terms, enables us to keep going. So I want to say a thank you for that, because I don't know if in a world of capitalism, if people often do get thanked for the things that they put their money into. The people at the other end are often just sort of right, keep it coming. Whereas for us, it's just a means to allow us to continue to function, and you allow us to do that. And so yeah, I wanted to say thanks, and obviously long may that continue. I hope things get better for us all financially, and we can allow ourselves to do that, because writing for me anyway, it's about more than just writing a book. So I can write a book on my own. I just need a Word document and I can do that. And I can write 10 books. I can upload them to Amazon and publish them and so on. I can do all of that without spending any money at all, of course. But one of the things that investing in your craft does for you is it allows you to elevate your skills beyond the level that would be possible just on your own, because learning from other people it's in our evolution. We've done it since the dawn of time, is that we've passed on necessary skills to the next generation, to the next generation, to the next generation, and so on. And for writers, it's the same thing. Someone with experience and who has had the opportunities to be published and has been successful, they have experiences and skills that the majority of us don't have yet. And we can either get it through our own experience, but that obviously takes time and a great deal of luck and faith in you from someone else at a publishing house. But for the majority of us, again, that's not always a possibility. So where do we get that experience and those sets of skills to help elevate us? And it comes from investing a little bit of money and learning them from people. And quite rightly, those people, all the people involved in our conference should be paid for their experience and skills. And this is a discussion I have all the time, actually, with authors. It's a difficult one because, on the one hand, you don't necessarily want to be charging a lot of money for people who maybe they don't have a publishing deal yet, so they don't necessarily have income from writing, and so they're borrowing income from elsewhere. Like I do with my teaching job to invest in my writing, for example. And but for them, they have worked hard. They've maybe invested money to get the skills and experience they've got. Maybe they haven't, but either way, they are valuable skills, and so they have to, charge for them, and we have to take care in the way that we reward them for that as well. And so all of this, I guess, what I'm saying is all of this leads back to a tricky balance with running a conference, and more so than just the monetary side of things, as well as the state of, or the opportunity to interact with other people, to form community. I think that community trumps everything else. Even more so than craft, even more so than getting experience and hearing about insights. I think that community means everything when you're a writer. And I wrote on my own without really speaking to anyone else about writing for maybe about 4 or 5 years at the start. And then I went on to Twitter and I started to sort of build up a small group of people that I would call a community. It was only a few people at first, and then did some courses and met other people and so on. And that's the key thing. If you invest as well, you are going to meet other writers, and they are the key thing that are going to keep you going. So even if you are successful, let's say you write your first novel and it sells, and you go on to superstardom, you still need people with you, writers especially with you, because the people around you who don't write, they're just not going to understand what it is that you're going through. And and I say that with the best will in the world about all those people that care for us, our family and our friends and those close to us. They still care about us, but they don't understand. They cannot possibly get themselves into the mindset that is required to survive every day as a writer. That constant self-doubt, the imposter syndrome, the feelings of inadequacy, the thought that can I actually do this? Can I get through this 70,000 word draft when I've only written 10,000 words in a year? That kind of thing. Can I get to the next chapter without going back and editing the previous chapter again and again and again? As and all these things which on our own really could mentally be very damaging for us if we try to just manage it ourselves. And often, I think, anyway, that the reason people walk away from writing is that the people around them are within their community are not the people that are going to encourage them to keep going. Whereas if you've got writers around you within your community, they are some of the most supportive and kind and generous people out there. Like, and I mean this as a genuine statement. I believe that they are more empathetic and warm and kind and caring than the general public. People who I meet in my everyday life. People who I meet at work, or people who I meet in other social occasions. Like, there's just something about people who choose to write, especially people who choose to write for children, like we all do. I think there has to be like a an attribute there, or a mental side of you that makes you just more predisposed to being like that. And I think that's what forms part of the special children's writers community that we have. And I think that extends beyond Right Mentor. It's not about Right Mentor. It's not solely within our little niche. It extends across to everywhere within the children's writing community. And there's so many little groups, and from critique groups of 4 or 5 people to larger groups. I'll mention a few just now. Actually, there's a great one on Facebook called Write Magic, which is run by volunteers, and it's a wonderful community. There's like 700 or so members, really supportive. They do lots of writing sprints and other supportive things over there. There's obviously SCBWI, which is a paid annual membership, but it's not in the more expensive side, although, as I say, at the moment, things are obviously tight for everyone. But again, that's another great community. They have been around for a long time. They again run by volunteers, I think, on the British side anyway, and they have got like a head office, so it's a worldwide organisation. There's also lots of other little free Twitter groups as well. I've seen, like, Children's Writers Group and other ones on Twitter too. So there are lots and lots out there, and all of them have community at their heart. So whichever way you decide to go after WOWCON, if you're not part of a children's writing community, or you don't have close children's writer friends, then I really would strongly suggest that that's your next step. And whether that's with us or somewhere else, that's absolutely fine. You just need to find the niche and the place that's right for you. Because, as I said a moment ago, it really can be the difference between giving up on something and keeping going, is the people that you surround yourself with. And that's so important. So community has to be at the heart of everything we do for you, and to create that community feel that you get, hopefully, at the conference and beyond with Right Mentor. And lastly, I think it's probably appropriate to say thank you to all the people who have made up the conference and have run the sessions for us, and the panels and the keynotes as well. Without them, there's obviously no conference at all. And one of the things that I've found with running the conference over the last 4 years is that I would say 98% of people that we ask to be part of the conference tend to say yes, which is amazing. I'm so pleased that people are trusting us and want to be part of our conference. And yeah, it can be nerve wracking approaching people, but with to a person, every single person that we have dealt with and have approached and so on have been so nice and so supportive, and they're lovely people. And it's one of those things, sometimes you think, oh, I've read this person's work and they are amazing, but I wonder if they're as nice in real life. And for the majority, for all the ones certainly that we've dealt with here today, or this weekend in this conference, they have been as lovely as you would expect. So I'm very quickly going to go through and name them all, because they deserve a small shout out for the work that they put in for the weekend. And obviously they've been the stars of the show in terms of all the individual sessions. But I'd like to just sort of put on record my personal thanks to all of them for replying and saying yes. I invited a couple of people, but as I said earlier on, Emily invited the majority of our people for the session. I know Melissa did a few and Florian did a few as well, but yeah, most of these people were emailing Emily, and so therefore it's good for me to say thanks personally. So in the keynote side of things, we had Rachel Bright, Serena Patel, Ross Montgomery, Kieran Millwood Hargrave, Jasmine Richards, and Amy Falone. On the workshop side of things, with Jennifer Killick, Jonathan Ayers, Ben Oliver, Simran Sandhu, Amy Sparks, and Kezia Lupo. who and we've heard such great feedback on both the keynotes and the workshops. I won't sit and read them all out here over this final session, but you can scroll back through the Slack pages and see them, and there's been loads on Twitter and so on as well. Then on to the talks, we've got Vashti Hardy, Holly Race, Claire Helen Welsh, Benjamin Dean, Chloe Seeger, Perdita and Honor Cargill, Catherine Emmett and David Tasman. And then on the panels at the which we're coming to last year, there's obviously quite a few names, and my thanks to all those who did the panels. They did those in advance of the conference, just because we felt like with dodgy internet connection and technology and so on, doing live panels, you can often lose someone, or someone's just a little bit behind and so on. So by pre-recording them, we hope that we've produced the best quality discussion for you, one that's good in quality, but also is undisturbed and is not lagging or whatever. And I've got to be honest, the panels were they were amazing again this year, and they were really good. So my thanks obviously to everyone involved. We've got Pierce Torday, Hannah Gold, Nicola Penfold, Alex Shepherd, Lydia Silver, Lucy Irvin, Megan Carroll, Aisha Bushby, Jenny Pearson, Patrice Lawrence, Phil Earle, A.M. Dasu, or as Cynthia Murphy, Georgia Bowers, Melissa Welliver, who chaired that particular panel, and Naomi Gibson. We've got Sophie Cleverly, we've got Emma Reid, we've got Emma Finlayson Palmer, we've got Emily Randall, who chaired that particular panel. And lastly, we have Rachel Davis, Sarah Daniels, Katina Wright, and Melissa Welliver again, who chaired that other panel. So thanks very much to all the panelists, to all those who did talks, to all those who did our workshops, and obviously to our keynote speakers as well, who produced such fantastic keynotes on the theme of this year's conference, which is Elevate. So I do hope that the conference has helped to elevate you in terms of your confidence, in terms of your motivation, in terms of your craft skills, and your experience that you've learned from the authors that we've had and the editors that we've had, and the agents as well that we've had on the sessions this year. The agent session was so good, actually, for those of you who are querying writers. That's definitely one that you want to have a look at, because they were talking a lot about not just about the quality of the pieces, but also about market and getting your voice right for that age category, and other really, really important things when you're thinking about querying. So that's well worth checking out if you are at that stage and you're coming up to do that. But yeah, it's been a wonderful conference. I've had a great time behind the scenes. I've not actually seen very much of the live sessions yet, but like you, I have 30 days to catch up on those, and to hopefully get through all of the content, and I'll do my best to do so, because especially if you're signed up for all the content, you want to get good value, you want to get your money's worth, and so yeah, getting through all of them in good time is a sensible thing to do. So yeah, you've got 30 days from when the session was live. Okay, so just bear that in mind, not 30 days from now, from when it was live. So if it was a Friday session, it's 30 days from then, which is obviously 28 days now. So try and watch it chronologically as it happened in the conference, because then that will obviously give you the maximum amount of time to watch each thing. The keynotes and the panels, which were pre-recorded, I will keep them up for the duration of the Slack channel, which is due to close at the last Sunday in October. Okay, so you've got actually just a little bit over a month for those as well. But I would say just keeping your head 30 days, and if you do that, you should be able to get through everything, and you certainly won't miss anything. I'll also put some warnings on Slack before I close it, and to let you know, just as a wee nudge to get in the last bit of watching, especially if you want to watch it again, as many people have said they want to do, and watch it as a second round. Because I guess, like, especially a 2-hour workshop, you're taking in a lot of information, and it can be hard to digest it all and to properly process it during the time. And so you have to go away and watch it again, and maybe go a bit slower and pause the video and so on. And so very, very happy for people to do that. And I hope you can take full advantage of what's on offer from the conference. So I think that takes us to the last thing that I need to do, which is to say thank you to everyone again for coming along. Thanks to all of the people involved that helped to make this happen. And I hope that I'll see you all next year for WOWCON 2023. Thanks, everyone, and may the force be with you.